I just want to make the point that the UK does not operate alone in either of these global drugs control policies. The UK government, as a fully paid-up member of the UN treaties, must acknowledge and take ownership of the failure of global drugs control policies and the harms done in its name, the so-called war on drugs. It's actually a war on the people who use drugs, because it is they who feel the sharp end of prohibition. That is why 26 countries have made changes to domestic laws and policies concerning possession of illicit drugs for personal use at least, so as to protect their citizens. However, the UK lags behind. It is not a war on drugs, really. It is a war on people who use them. It is a war on the citizens' behaviour, and most often it is delivered by the state against the poorest people, poorest communities. And we do not put drugs in prisons, we put people in prisons. We allow every and all aspects of the market to regulate itself because we simply prohibit it. It is a market. It will not go away or be managed simply by investing in more police or border control efforts. It's like trying to make gravity illegal. We cannot be naive and seriously think that there is any way forward but to reform policies and make them fit for today. Which brings me to the long-standing issue of the Glasgow Safer Drug Consumption Facility and Heroin-Assisted Treatment Pilot Project, which has cross-party support in the city, certainly from Labour and the Scottish National Party. And as many members may be aware, the issue of drug use and drug-related mortality in Glasgow is particularly acute and is a problem that necessitates radical and disruptive new approaches. Almost a third, 267 of all Scotland's drug deaths in 2016 occurred within the Greater Glasgow Health Board area, and per 1 million people there are 283 drug-related deaths in Glasgow, and that is an appalling 1,315% higher than the EU average. And of that, there's 13,600 people aged between 15 and 64 in the Glasgow City Council area that are problematic drug users, which is twice the national average in Scotland. So this is why the Safe Drug Consumption and Heroin-Assisted Treatment proposal is so vital for our city to improve its public health performance in this area. I met with the Minister recently and we had a productive discussion about the issue of safe drug consumption rooms and heroin-assisted treatment. Whilst we have a disagreement on the issue of the safe drug consumption room pilot, primarily because of the assurance over the safety of the substances being brought into that facility, I would propose that there are methods of testing the substances brought in prior to them being used on the premises, but that is beside the point. I want to focus on where there is a possibility of moving forward in the short term to deal with this pressing issue in Glasgow. And I want to ask the Minister if she can outline more robust measures, what she can do to improve and expedite the heroin-assisted treatment pilot programme in Glasgow. How can we get this on the ground? How can we move this forward? I want to see a means of people being able to use drug-related equipment in a safe environment in a way that can be controlled and that the substances they are using are assured. That is the only way we're going to make an impact on the ground in Glasgow. That is the only way we're going to be able to address the appalling level of drug-related deaths. So I'd like to focus on the heroin-assisted treatment side of the proposal of the pilot in Glasgow. Let us focus on delivering something on the ground within the next year. Let us get it on the ground and do something as a starting point at least. Will the Minister elaborate on what she can do to do that?